What's going on, guys? For today's video, I'm going to be talking about a recent fictional collection that I designed for the brand Basketcase Gallery. Now, if you don't know me and you're new to the channel, my name's Daniel. I'm a designer and clothing brand owner. My brand is called Apologetic Letters, and I mostly talk about marketing and fashion and kind of the intersection of them. But I've been doing a recent series where at least roughly once a month, I try and do a fictional design kind of collection. It all kind of started back in January when Clint, the founder of Cortez, did a design competition for designers, and I participated in that. Designed a 10-piece collection overnight. It was pretty cool. Was decently well received, and kind of inspired me to do more things like that on top of everything else I have going on. So last month I did one for my favorite artist, The Weeknd, and his new album "Hurry Up Tomorrow." But this past 3 to 4 weeks, I've been intermittently designing a collection of what I would do for Basketcase Gallery if I was a designer for them. So I'm going to show you guys exactly what I made, kind of the process behind it, and yeah, just kind of a fun project that I wanted to work on and wanted to showcase to you guys. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Okay, so cool. So quickly, just very briefly, the brand Basketcase Gallery, it is a brand based in California by this guy named Zach Kinninger, if I have that correctly. And yeah, they're a pretty awesome brand. Kind of have this kind of punk, grungy aesthetic, kind of a little bit hard to describe. Do a lot of graphic heavy stuff as well as just some more detailed products that are more down to the washing and distressing and technical side of things. But if you're not familiar with them, go check them out. If you haven't seen them before, then it might be a little bit harder to kind of understand the aesthetic I was going for, so at least have a reference point. But here's kind of just some typical things that they do release. Like I said, again, they kind of have something for everyone, a very wide product range, and so this was kind of the inspiration for the collection. Of course, was kind of how I would design for them using their design language. So the collection that I designed, I will show you here now. Here's everything I made. I created an 11-piece collection consisting of graphic tees, knits, hoodies, flannels, crewnecks, hats. I've already said that. I'm bugging, and a Letterman to end it off. So piece by piece, we will just go right through it. Starting off with the Nurture hoodie. Yeah, I call this one the Nurture hoodie. I forgot to label all of them how I would actually call them, but yeah, this is what I would consider the Nurture hoodie. I'm pretty sure this whole collection was actually made in Photoshop as well. Some of them might have started in Illustrator, and then kind of I decided to bring it into Photoshop. If you want a tutorial or even like a behind the scenes of how I design some of these things, let me know, because I would definitely take a lot more time. But something desired to see how I can put some of these graphics and things of that nature, please just let me know, and I will look to make a video about that soon. So this one was pretty simple. It has a bit of the online ceramics element to it as well, if you're familiar with that brand. So yeah, there's kind of a bit of that inspiration as well, but we have this kind of these people hugging this tree. The basket case, No One Left Behind, which the brand sometimes has a lot of themes of community and things of that nature, and I just feel like this is kind of on brand for them, as well as like the kind of leaf slash tree print on these sleeves. I think kind of just goes very well with the overall. And yeah, pretty cool hoodie. Again, this one feels a little bit of like an online ceramics basket case gallery kind of collab from both the topic and just the graphic overall. But yeah, really cool piece. Fun making that one. Next up, I have the Search and Rescue crew neck. Probably one of the ones that took me a little longer just because, again, if you guys look at my brand Apologetic Letters, you can kind of get a feel for a little bit of the stuff that I'm used to doing. So this one was definitely a bit of a leap for me. And part of the reason why I chose this brand is because they do a little bit more graphic heavy stuff, especially on like the tees, hoodies, crew necks, that type of thing. So I really wanted to kind of expand my arsenal in terms of how I design. And so, yeah, came up with this one. We have the paw prints on the chest, the Basketcase gallery hit, and then this kind of sleeve full of a lot of graphics. If you look at take a look at their Instagram, I did look at a lot of their old product to kind of get inspiration from how I should design some of the stuff. I think for this one, I kind of took inspiration from this hoodie right here, full of, I don't know what it's called, but I think these are all like tattoos, if you will, or what they kind of imagine them to look like. So yeah, I think they do a lot of graphic heavy stuff. I think a lot of their graphics in general are pretty cool, so I kind of try to match that vibe with something like this crew neck, but also conceptually. Again, we have these paw prints right here, and it's kind of a search and rescue kind of theme. So yeah, won't get too much more into it to that. But next up, we have the Sing hat. So this is actually one thing that Basketcase Gallery does very well is they do a ton of bootlegs. Even if we just go quickly here to Google, we can see a ton of bootlegs that they have done in the past, such as this Pikachu one. They did a Blue Eyes Toon Dragon from Yu-Gi-Oh. Did a Spider-Man one, all kinds of stuff. And I probably like my favorite thing that they do are these. Where's my thing at? Are these types of bootlegs? Yeah, easily my favorite thing that they do. Really cool. Where is that? Sorry, guys. I'm bugging. I'm still getting used to using um, MacBook. So yeah, we have this Sing hat. It's actually based off the Pokemon Clefairy, the OG Pokemon. The actual Pokemon card. One of the moves that they use is the move Sing. So kind of reimagine this kind of embroidery on the front as well as the like paws slash like hands on the brim embroidered, and then we have the Basketcase Gallery Thumper logo on the background. So this is probably my favorite piece. This is definitely something that if I were to do like a collab with them, like I think this is the thing that I would want for sure to release, just because conceptually and like visually and just like for all of the reasons I like it a lot. Would maybe add like a side hit as well, leather embroidery or even something on the back for some branding. But yeah, super hard, and I just really like the concept of that hat. On the same topic, we have the shiny hoodie, which really I kind of thought about it as we've seen a lot of Pokemon incorporated into the bootleg world, if you will, but I haven't seen something like a Tangela. We see everything from like Gengar to Pikachu to any of the famous starters to any legendary Pokemon like a Mew or Mewtwo. But we don't really see any love given to Pokemon that you kind of have to know, have played Pokemon, grown up, and really like understand to recognize someone like a Tangela, like a Pokemon that's not really well known in the grand scheme of things. So yeah, I thought that was a really cool concept, and then also wanted to do the shiny version just because they always look a little cooler. They're a little different, and yeah, even in like that kind of like bootleg space, you don't really see people using like shiny Pokemon because again, it doesn't have that immediate grand recognition from the general population. So like this one a lot, and of course, I actually left out the T in Basketcase because it's Tangela starts with a T, so I don't know, little kind of cool conceptual element to that. But moving on, probably my hardest to design graphic was this Basketcase Gallery. I call this one the Dream Tee. Um, if you're not familiar with their brand, they do a lot of cool stuff with the way they name their collections and products individually. So definitely check that out. Try to be as creative as possible with most of these, but also kind of hard to do that. So yeah, call this one the Dream Tee, and it's really just like a world tour rendition of how I would imagine something like that to look like fictionally. So of course we have the Thumper logo on the sleeves. This whole kind of Basketcase Gallery, very loud kind of graphic right here with the girl and her like eyes on the front. We have all the dates right here, completely made up, of course, and then called it the Now Wear Tour. So yeah, something like this is definitely a little bit more difficult for me because I don't do a ton of massive graphic heavy like hoodies and tees and things like that. So definitely going to be experimenting more on this type of design style as I like it and would love to do better for it. I know there's a lot of brands that do that successfully, not really trying to completely take my brand or my design into that space, but definitely want to have that as something that I can do for every once in a while to kind of mix it up. So next up, we have the uh, band cap, which was actually a reference from an old Deftones. I forget what kind of merch it was. It might have been a hat. It might have been a T-shirt. I forget. But yeah, I do a lot of references for certain things, and I know for Basketcase Gallery they do some really cool references. Again, like that bootlegs, which is a little more direct, and they have some other ones that aren't as direct. But yeah, this one I thought was really cool. Also, like referencing something like Deftones, I think is pretty on brand for Basketcase Gallery and like their whole just community and the people that are into Basketcase Gallery. So I like this one a lot. Also incorporated a rabbit as well because of the Thumper logo. I thought would be a good incorporation. And yeah, super simple, but definitely something I could see them releasing. And yeah, if you're not familiar with them too, they're honestly pretty popular and successful with a lot of their releases. So yeah, something like that I could see doing very well. Much like something like this football knit that I came up with. One of their most famous pieces is the college sweater, and I will show you that right here. Basketcase Gallery college sweater. It's called the college sweater, but it's really just this dog on the front. with the basket and then case on the bottom, um, split up. This one they've ran to the ground in terms of just like production. They've released this a million times, from knits to crewnecks to maybe shirts. I think hoodies as well. But yeah, it's a really, really popular graphic for them, and clearly just hits well, resonates for a lot of reasons. And so kind of took inspiration for something like that. But here we have the Basketcase FC, with the person about to kick the soccer ball. Again, pretty simple. I also like this kind of blue on blue graphic. And yeah, definitely something that I would consider releasing for my own brand. So I might actually just kind of steal this for the Apologetic Letters FC, something like that. But yeah, let me know which products you guys like, and then maybe I'll actually turn those into something for my own brand. But yeah, this was also one of the ones that was probably my second or third favorite, and just another thing that I think would work very well for them as a brand. Moving on, I think this is the last like bootleg I have. We have the Slappy tee. Again, they actually did a bootleg recently of, I forget that book, but the one where like it's like a kid's book or like a elementary middle school book where it shows like the people, I think like metamorphosis or something like that, where it shows them like turning into like an animal or something like that. Anyways, the reason I bring that up is because it kind of inspired me to think about childhood books that I think would work well for the brand to reference. So that's I came up with Goosebumps, and the first thing that immediately came to my mind was the what's it called, Night of the Living Doll, and it's the this doll Scrappy, I think is his name, or Slappy, sorry, Slappy. And so yeah, did that with this cool Basketcase Gallery text in the kind of Goosebumps kind of font, if you will. Pretty simple, again, nothing too crazy, but probably could also like make this a little more like distressed and vintage, if you will, to give it that real effect. If this was something that I actually again like worked on with them, I would definitely do that, because they definitely do that in a lot of their product with that kind of again vintage distress kind of fading look. But yeah, really cool, simple graphic, and I just like the way that one came out and the concept behind it. Actually, lied to you guys. I do have one more. This is the Twilight tee. I think I called this. I think I called this the Forks tee, which is actually where the movie Twilight takes place in this fictional town called Forks. Actually, just watched this recently for the second time ever. Honestly, not a bad movie, and I think it's also just something that Basketcase Gallery would actually reference again. That was kind of the ideology behind it, and wanted to mess around with this kind of Twilight font logo graphic. So that's kind of what I came up with. This one was kind of fun to make, a little different for me, and yeah, pretty simple and definitely something that would appeal to the masses. So would work in that regard and just be another product that would hit. Last two products. So this Letterman jacket was definitely something a little bit out of my comfort zone. I've never designed a Letterman jacket. Don't really plan to drop one anytime soon either, but would definitely consider it in the future. And so I came up with this concept of the elementary Letterman jacket. Kind of just again taking inspiration from childhood and things that kids are used to like playing with. So that's why we have the merry-go-round and slide on the front. And then on the back, we just have the sky, which is kind of why it's a light blue tone. We have the sun, the clouds, and then just the grass, and then the Basketcase Gallery in the kind of children's building blocks font. So the hardest part about this was actually getting it to look like a somewhat realistic, like patch slash embroidery. I tried the new parametric embroidery filters on Photoshop. Didn't turn out the best, but didn't turn out the worst. At least kind of gave me a rough mock-up for what things look like. And that's one thing I will advise people that are getting more into designing is that when you ever have an idea, always flush it out. At least try and take it from something from my mind to something on my laptop. Even if I'm not getting a sample made, if I can at least make a digital version of it, even if it's a super rough mock-up, so I can at least have that idea exist in a visual format. I think is very important. So even for something like this, which would probably not actually turn out like this mock-up at least gives a good guide for how I'd want it to be presented, and then we just make some actual changes in terms of the presentation and actually getting it to a place where I can like manufacture it. Then we have this little text right here. I yearn to relive what I once felt as a child. I came up with that. I just felt like it's something that Basketcase Gallery would like say. They do stuff like that a lot for the brand. So again, just felt that was on brand. And then ending it off with the other piece I think would be most realistic for them to release is this, what I call the coffee flannel. Again, I incorporated the Thumper logo, this like essentially circle with the bunny right here in the middle, flipped it upside down and gave it this kind of coffee filter, if you will, on this flannel, and then put the B&G for Basketcase Gallery on the front. Would probably be a print, but also I guess could be done as an embroidery, however you'd want that to see. But again, I think this is something that actually they would definitely release. And I actually stole this, flannel mock-up too from something that they did. So yeah, I wanted to make this look as realistic as possible. But that's kind of all I had for today, guys. I thought it'd be cool to kind of talk it over this whole kind of fictional collection and just how I would imagine a like collaboration slash like designing for them. I had a lot of fun with this. Again, kind of took some time out of my day for the last like 3 to 4 weeks when I had time, an hour, 2, 3 hours here. There was a lot of stuff that was actually cut and not like presented in this little 11-piece collection. So it was a lot of ideation and then trying to bring things to life, and then just kind of thinking about what they'd actually released, using their design language, finding actual pieces that they have released to reference or use for mock-ups, and just a lot of things in general with that. So yeah, that's pretty much all I had again today, guys. Please leave a like, comment, positive or negative, how you feel about the collection, is there anything about that. Also, what you want to see next, other brands, artists, anything like that that I should take a look at and try and do my own collection for. And lastly, please subscribe if you've not already. Just hit 1,500, I believe, and have big goals, for just the end of this year to try and hit some serious numbers. So yeah, thank you guys so much again, and appreciate you guys watching. And like I said, until then, I'll see you guys for another video of business, marketing, or some combination of the both. So thank you guys.